Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request for Alex. Thank you so much for that. For those interested, requesting any type of videos, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, tier list ranking, like I said, review, re-review of a movie, whatever the case, feel free to send it. PayPal is the best way to do it. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And this is for the film Doberman, a 1997 French action thriller that you could definitely tell was inspired by Quentin Tarantino, among other, maybe a bit Robert Rodriguez. This is definitely one of those films that looks like it's made by people on cocaine, which might not be everybody's cup of tea, but is like a cocaine-fueled movie, because there's always these shots with the camera, push-ins and camera movements, and some people may find that irritating. I find that exciting, as long as it's not epileptic or anything. But when they're moving the camera, like dude, trying to be Evil Dead. I always think of like Evil Dead type of camera work. I'm a sucker for that. I think that's fun. It is a visual medium, and some could say that's a crutch, and it's to hide script problems or such. But hey, if it works, it works. If it's exciting, it's exciting. Now, the cast of the film, you got Vincent Cassel, which I remember he was in The Crimson Rivers with John Reno, which I liked that film. I thought that was pretty good. He's been in a few other films of that nature. And you also have Monica Bellucci, who I remember from The Matrix Reloaded. She was in Shoot 'Em Up. She plays a deaf mute, and she's very beautiful. She's pretty hot in this movie. And then Tchéky Karyo, who I just rewatched in Kiss of the Dragon. Love that Jet Li film. Also, what was it? He was in the first Bad Boys film. He was in The Core. He plays a cop, but pretty dirty, evil cop. I mean, really nobody here is a good person, so it's just, they're scummy and scummier. And you can tell what kind of film this is in the first 5 minutes of the movie, because it shows Vincent's character when he was a kid, a baby, where first off you have this weird title sequence where it's like this CGI dog, but it's like a cartoon dog. I mean, this is a weird way to open up the film. And then the dog becomes like a dog face, but it's a person with a gun shooting at the screen, and then pisses on the titles. I'm like, yep, this movie is definitely on cocaine. And hey, I could dig it. I didn't expect that. And then it goes to our scheduled programming where a baby is being christened, bless you, all that stuff. So this dog comes in, bites this guy's arm who's got a gun. The gun flies off and it lands in the baby's crib, and the other's kind of looking at it. And then the baby has the gun, and the camera is turning, and as it turns, the gun starts morphing into a different gun, and then when it gets to over here, Vincent is holding it. It's modern day, and he kind of pulls it out of the other flashback. I'm okay. It's trying to be very inventive with the camera work and the transitions and ambition. There's definitely some cocaine-fueled ambition in this, and I can appreciate that. And him and his girlfriend Monica Bellucci, who, like I said, is a deaf mute, they rob banks. Sorry, just trying to respond to someone. But they rob banks. They rob other stuff. And one thing leads to another. Like I said, the with his gun, he's got these things that are like little missiles. He doesn't use them a lot, but once in a while he uses them. And he like puts it on his gun, so like a little mini missile, and he shoots it. And then you have this like shot going towards his van that hits the front of it, and the guard flies through slides, and he's like bloodied up. And Monica Bellucci's there, like looking at the gun and looking up the gun, which I'm not going to do, but I'm like, this is a fucking crazy ass movie. It really does have that Sam Raimi flavor to it, at least in that part of the movie. Then you have the other characters who are part of Vincent's gang. So there's him, his deaf-mute girlfriend. There's this guy who dresses like a priest, and he's a bit crazed. He's got glasses. He has a Bible that's got a grenade in it. There's this other guy who's always chewing on stuff. Like, he cannot stop chewing on stuff. And, like, when they're playing tennis, he, like, shoots the tennis ball. He's a bit crazed. There's a guy who's got a pet, like a puppy, who he named Godzilla. So, so it's one of those things where, again, it's hard to call these characters likable, but they were interesting. I will say that they were interesting, at least. Maybe just going, what the fuck's going to happen next? Now, after that, because there's a lot to take in like the first 15 or so minutes, it does slow down a bit. They pretty much come up with a plan where they make it seem as if all these banks are being robbed, so the cops are busy, but they really rob like these one or two banks. Monica Bellucci has like a gun. He shoots like a grenade launcher, blows up this door. But again, there's some crazy stuff in this. Spoilers. There's a bit when they're going and there's this cop trying to get them in this motorcycle. And I think the guy kind of shoots the guy's puppy, which is the guy's fault. Should have brought the puppy with him. So they're fighting the guy, and then they bring the guy in, and the priest guy like puts a grenade in the guy's helmet and pushes him off. He's trying to get it, and people are fleeing, and there's a wide shot, and the fucking guy explodes from him. I'm trying to think. But yeah, it's one of those things where, sorry for the lack of words, but sometimes like, what the fuck's going on? But I kind of enjoy that. Like, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. For some it's a bit too much, or a bit too, what's the word I'm thinking of, childish, or a bit too trying to be hip, or trying to be a bit Tarantino-esque too much, or some people say, oh, this is a film that, maybe if you're 12 years old you would like. Well, I wouldn't say this is one of my favorites, because again, it does slow down at times, and I wouldn't say the characters are the most likable. I prefer more likable characters I could root for. There's really no one I could root for in this movie. I just found them, interesting, but it's definitely out there. But I appreciate the energy. I see a lot of films today that don't have a tenth of this film's energy, and I can appreciate that. I can. And then Tchéky Karyo, when he really pops into the picture, he's a He's not a good guy either. They found out one of the gang members is this guy who likes to wear women's clothes. Finds where this guy's at. The guy does have a baby, and Tchéky Karyo threatens the baby with a fucking grenade. And so it gets the guy to talk and tell where his other buddies are at, which is this club. Eventually, a firefight breaks out. And again, this whole section, there is some crazy stuff in it, but it's not like a ton of wall-to-wall action and stuff until the shootout and this firefight where Vincent gets one of the little missiles, shoots it, and these two guys blow out of the club all the way outside, all the way to the water. And there's all this shit being blown up everywhere. There's this bit where, because Monica Bellucci is a deaf mute, she takes the stereo and turns it all the way up. So the guy over there, he can barely stand it or anything. And with this kind of movie, I thought his head was going to explode like Scanners. That's not realistic. Trust me, this film, realism is not the course of action, but it just seemed like it was going to happen this type of... I'm surprised it didn't. Again, more spoilers. What happens is, some of the people get killed, some of them don't. The guy who likes to chew a lot, he's with a lady. The cops get him, arrest him. Then he takes the guy's... I forget what he takes. One of his stuff, and he's looking in the mirror. And then he gets his his brains blown out because the priest guy, apparently he's a voyeur who likes to watch his buddy fuck. So he's watching behind this mirror, but it gave him a reason to kill the cop. Because the cops aren't the greatest people in this movie either. So he gets the guy out. The guy who lost his dog, he gets killed. Monica Bellucci gets taken. Vincent has escaped to this safe house. And long story short, he sees that Tchéky Karyo has Monica Bellucci, and looks like he's going to assault her. So Vincent's going to save his girlfriend. That's where you did a bit of a car chase. And then able to get to the other car, fight Tchéky Karyo, take his face and slam it right into the road. Holds it there and is scraping Tchéky Karyo's face up. It's a really good camera work to really get the visceral impact of this chase. That you really feel like they're getting closer and closer to danger, and maybe he'll get hit here, and Vincent's pushing more of the face down to the road, and you feel Tchéky Karyo's pain until, boom, he gets hit. And then kind of this interesting way of, I don't know, showing the last moments of his life. Something where it shows like his POV and he's like this hospital, and Vincent's come in and stopping all the work on him, and Tchéky Karyo can't do anything. It just really, like I said, I appreciate the ambition of the direction. I think that helped a lot. Pretty much Tchéky Karyo's dead. The rest make it out. The last shot is them kind of going to the forest, the trees to escape. But then this weird shot where there's like a helicopter and then there's like a targeting system. I'm like, what is this, Predator? So, that was a bit weird. I think there was talks of doing a sequel, but it never came to be. And I want to check real quick, because Jan Kounen is the guy who directed this. And I don't know any of the films he did since or before this. They're all foreign films. Flight of the Storks is a TV movie, 2012. But it's still a French one. So, yeah, and although I can't say I'm a fan of the guy personally because he signed a petition in support of film director Roman Polanski. I definitely do not approve of that, and I'm not going to get into why, because that's a whole other conversation. But I didn't mind some of his energetic direction in this, I will say. Vincent Cassel, he was also in, I guess, Ocean's 12 and Jason Bourne, 2016 he was in. Eastern Promises. So there you go. Brotherhood of the Wolf, I think he was in. Yeah, 2011, a sequel called Doberman 2 was announced, but it didn't happen. So there you go. But yeah, this is definitely a pretty trippy French crime film. I think the direction, the cocaine fueled stuff definitely is the best part of it. Again, the characters aren't the most sympathetic. Yeah, I think in the middle, there's parts of it that kind of slows down a bit. I would have liked maybe a bit more action in the film. Although there's some good stuff in the third act. It's not like it's not John Wick or anything. I'm not saying that, but there was some, good stuff in there. The insanity and the sense of humor may not be everyone's taste, because they may feel it's too juvenile. That's the word I'm thinking of. Like maybe they feel it's too juvenile. But I don't know, to me, it didn't bother me a whole lot. Again, it's hard to really root for these characters. I don't even think there's even a... I don't think you're supposed to root for any of them. Vincent, at least, he's a robber, and I don't mind the actor, and at the end he does do anything to... He feels like he cares for his comrades, he cares for his buddies, and he definitely cares for his girlfriend. So at least there's something with that. But if you like cocaine-fueled movies, if you're fine with watching French films, like I said, the energetic camera work and some of the humor and craziness of this, I'm glad I at least saw it once. I don't know if this is a film I'd watch over and over again, but I'm glad I saw it once. So overall, I did like it for what it is. So with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks once again to Alex, take care, thank you for your patience, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.